How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.
My name is Jonathan Gillum.
And this is The Experts. This is Jonathan Gillum, and this is The Experts on Facebook Live, Twitter, and YouTube. And tonight, my last show before my surgery tomorrow, so if I don't make it through, I will see you all on the other side. Make sure that you live right so you'll go where I'm going, so you go where Jesse is at and Rico will be. Maybe that's a little bit over dramatic, but listen, in all honesty, you got to take these things seriously. You know, surgery is no joking matter, and so I finally figured out exactly what they're going to be doing tomorrow. I'll tell you a little bit about that. But I do want to talk about, people are saying that's not funny, don't say that. But I do want to talk a little bit, I think it's important to talk tonight about something that I learned on Newsmax today when I was on there earlier today about this about not surgery, about the budget and how much of a scam it actually is. So why don't we? I'll get my head straight, and we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll talk about that right now. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More: The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it. All right, so as you can see, I have my books lined up here. This is what you're going to be getting. I talked about that yesterday. And so, again, these are books that go out to the different bookers, the different producers, radio people, and so they get it prior, and then and that's when I go on the show so they can know what the show or what the book is all about. Those books are going to be pushed out December 12th is when they're going to be shipped, and right now it's going gangbusters, and that's in large part. Well, I got to say, because of Sean Hannity radio show, I think this show has a good following, and the people on here have pushed that out further and further, so that really the word of mouth is spreading on this book and the reality of what it's all about. So I can't thank you all enough for that. And I think that, again, Sean Hannity radio show and the word of mouth have helped get this book out there. Don't stop talking about it. In fact, here's what I challenge you. Last night, I want to explain this real quick. Last night, I challenged everybody to go join the NRA and to go apply for your concealed weapons carry permit. The reason why I said you should do that is because the press really does focus on numbers big time. And although there's some things about the NRA that I haven't agreed with, overall, I don't think that they've done enough of certain things. They are basically a voice that needs to be there, has to be there. And so the reason why I talked about that yesterday, about everybody going and joining the NRA and getting your concealed weapons carry permit, wasn't anything that has to do with sponsoring the NRA. It was a sign of unity that I'm trying to get everybody together to unify. You know how I always talk about this dialogue, and yes, somebody just wrote on Twitter there that the NRA just wants your money. You know, maybe so. But the fact is that the NRA is a recognized lobby by the leftists in this country. And if their numbers spike, it's going to be, despite what you think about the NRA, and I said last night, I'm not a member of the NRA, but I'm going to join the NRA now for this purpose. But I don't want to do it by myself because that's an empty number. If we get tons of people together to join the NRA, those statistics are going to come out, and the left will see those things. Imagine if all of a sudden 1 million, 200 million people just jumped out there, jumped up in numbers on the NRA, then it's going to make a difference. It's going to make a huge difference in not just their lobby, but also in showing the left, like this person right here, this anti-Trump MSNBC host, Joy Reid, who. So this is what you're dealing with here, folks. She says that she thinks rural Americans are a core threat to democracy. Now, this right here, let me just show you, is the face of an idiot, okay? Now, I'm going to go on record saying this. She's an idiot, and she is a leftist who, she knows what she's saying when she says this. She's insulting white people. That's another way for her to insult white people, because for some strange reason, people that grow up in the city or that have moved to the city from the South, they forget that the South and the rural areas in this country are just as cosmopolitan as anywhere else. There's black people, white people, Asian people. There's Jewish people that live in the rural areas in this country. But this is, in her mind, she's insulting the what she would consider the alt-right, which I don't. That's just another term that they're using. That's just another. That's just another thing that they're throwing out there to separate and divide people. This woman is an idiot, and this is why it's important for us to get behind our rights and stand together. Remember, God granted you these rights, but unfortunately, we exist in a world that is controlled by Satan, and we live in a world that is, by and large, ruled by man. And that in and of itself is why you are always going to have to fight to maintain your rights. Has nothing to do with the NRA. So I want to make that clear tonight because let me see. Do we have some weirdo on here again tonight talking about child porn? Let me hold on a second here. I'm not going to waste the show on this weirdo. I didn't see what it was, so I don't know what they said. Hold on a second. I got this all set up now where I can block people immediately. And also, you can see now I've got my iPads up here where I can actually read the chats that are going on. If somebody on Twitter could tell me again who this person is, and I will I'll block them if I can here real quick. So hold on. Stand by 1 second. Let's see here. All right. Let's see, who was this person? Let me look up here. All right, now tell me who it was real quick. Puppet Guy. I need to know the actual name of the person if you have that. So if you get that, let me know, and I'll just go in here and block them. So until then, so here's this basically is why I was trying to get everybody to join the NRA and go get your concealed weapons carry permit, so that you would become unified. Well, it's the same thing when I'm talking about most of the things that I talk about on this show, which is unity. And I don't know if this is going to be such a good idea having the Twitter up here at all, because it's going to end up getting on my nerves, which you can tell I lose my train of thought when I'm doing this. So this is what you have to unify against right here. Okay, and that's why I'm trying to get people to join the NRA, so that the numbers can come down, so that idiots like this won't have a voice. And she's an idiot. I can't say that enough. So let me retrain my thought here. So one of the things today, and I'm going to get off this topic here now. So basically, what I wanted to cover real quick, when I was on Newsmax a little while ago, does anybody else have any questions about why I asked that? Because I got some people writing me yesterday about me saying this stuff about the NRA. This should say it all for you right here, why we need to have everybody unified behind this. Because these leftist, racist, like this person here, they're just, we got to stand against them. And in California, let me tell you something. Texas needs to look at California, because the same thing's going to happen to Texas that happened to California. Now, I found out something today. When I was Newsmax, we were talking to Michael Reagan, Ronald Reagan's son, and we were talking about the budget. And he said something I was shocked by. Now, I already knew a part of this, but I didn't know that a law was passed after Richard Nixon by Congress that says that it is the law that the president must spend all the money in the budget. So that is kind of shocking to me. So now there's a law that says whatever is allocated by the purse, which Congress owns the purse, the power of the purse, and they say this agency is going to get this and this and this. They can't say we didn't use this money. We don't need that. We don't need that money. The law says that the president doesn't make sure that it's spent, then he can be held liable for that. I was shocked by that, because basically what that does is it gives the Congress the ability to put pork bellies and all this other nonsense in these bills, and then once it gets passed, the president has to ensure that it gets done. And that's kind of shocking to me. And then the other part of this whole thing is the fact that when we talk about the taxes and we talk about the debt, the reality with that whole thing is that when we look at at what I just said about this spending and about the president has to make sure that these budgets are fully spent, we're never going to be able to do away with the budget. And that's why the taxes will never be, under the current Congress and Senate that we have, will never be a basically a flat tax. They won't do it because they want to suck as much money out so that they can then use that tax money. Remember, the more and more and more money that they are able to allocate, the more money they can get to their constituents, the big money constituents, and the more money will go into their pockets as well. If you look at all these people, whether it be Elizabeth Warren or Paul Ryan or John McCain or any of these people, they are all loaded rich. And not all of them were loaded rich when they got there. They got rich afterwards because they have the ability to pad their pockets, do insider trading, do all these different things. And it is a sick thing of what's going on right now. It's been going on for a long time, but it's actually growing in veracity in that now, at least since Nixon's days and into this day and age where the morality is gone, the games are out in the open. They don't really care. They don't really care what you have to say. There's the ruling class, and then there's non-ruling class. They don't have to. They don't have to worry about health care like we have to worry about it. They don't have to worry about sex scandals. They have. They take our money and they pay people off for it. They don't have to worry about insider trading, which would put us in jail. They don't have to worry about making deals for contracting companies and doing these types of things. And like look at Maxine Waters and her husband, and she got her husband in the bank that he was at fully bailed out. I mean, this is how corrupt these people are, okay? And they will get richer. They're not going to play by our rules. And when you look at the fact that they can put whatever they want into these bills, and then the president, by law, has to make sure that it's spent, I was shocked when I learned that. I was shocked. So when you see this, and if you have the ability to go on NewsmaxTV.com after this show, you can watch the first part of that interview. I was going to pull it tonight, but I just don't have time. I got started late as it is because I've got to eat, get Rico fed, and I got to get ready to go to bed so I can. I got to eat as much possible before midnight and drink as much water because I got this surgery tomorrow. So go to NewsmaxTV.com and you can watch the show from tonight, Newsmax Now, and it's on there. You got to scroll down and find it and watch tonight's show, and you'll see the very first interview that we did with Michael Reagan, and it's pretty incredible. Shocking, actually. Very shocking. Nobody talks about it. So, yes, I'm having surgery on my right knee, in case you didn't know. So I also wanted to show you this. I've never seen anybody show me who this guy is, so let me just show you this picture here. This is what I'm having tomorrow. Da-dun. Let me turn the lighting down here a little bit. So this is my knee on the left, as you can see right there where the separation is at. And then tomorrow they're going to go and they're going to put sutures in there and pull the tendon down and reattach it to my kneecap. That's why right now at this point I can't do this with my leg. I can't lift my leg up. I can move it side to side. I can pull it backwards, but I can't lift it this way because, as you can see, basically what happened is there on the left right here, it is separated from the kneecap, so they got to reattach that. So bingo, there you go. Lovely. So why don't we do this in order to save time? And I know there's a lot of people that wish I had done a longer show today. I'm going to try tomorrow. I'm not promising anybody anything. I don't think I'll be able to do a show tomorrow. Look, if I can, I'll pop up and I'll say hello to everybody. We'll see what happens. But if not, then I'll be up on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, whenever I can do it. You know, it depends on how much pain medication I'm in. So I've had since this started last Monday, it's been a week, I have not had one prescription pain pill in my mouth. I've had Motrin, and for the past 2 days, I've had Tylenol, which is like drinking water when it comes to healing pain or pain management. Come here, dog. Yeah. So hopefully they'll give me some tomorrow because I'm not lying to you. I haven't hardly slept at all because of this pain in my knee. So enough about me. Let's go to the A block, I guess you could say. We already did the warning order. and I want to talk real quick about Al Franken and about how he is a lying sex offender. And I'm going to talk about that real quick, and I'm going to go through his little speech that he did today, and let's go from there. All right, A block. Yeah, Al Franken. Hold on. This dog wants to say hello. Hold on, dog. Come here. Come here. Up under the wire. There you go. Needy dog. There you go. How's that? All right, you can sit up here for a minute. Tough guy. This dog, I'll tell you what, I guess he knows that I'm hurt because he just is all over me constantly. And if I leave him for a few minutes, he destroys the house in his own unique way. Right? Right? All right, you sit there. All right, we're going to listen to Al Franken first, and then we'll listen to Nancy Pelosi. I kind of talked about this a little bit last night. Everybody's talking about Roy Moore this, Roy Moore that. We still don't know the women that have made the accusations against Roy Moore and the attorneys. They have not backed this up with anything else. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. What I'm trying to concern myself with is because it's a no-win situation. People are going to say you're not backing Roy Moore, and then people are going to say you're not backing the women who are making the accusations. I'm saying, well, here's what my take is. It's political. For Roy Moore, he may have lost this fight. If he didn't do anything, he may be an innocent guy who lost this political battle, and that's the way it rolls in politics. On the other, would you stop? On the other hand, these women, 40 years later, they don't have a lot of evidence, so they may be the victims in all this. So I don't know. But what I do know is that I can look at people who said, yes, I did something wrong, in the case of Al Franken, who's admittedly done some things wrong. But as you can see, like any narcissistic, psychopathic sex offender, he's never really going to say exactly what he did. He's going to say, I don't remember, because he knows the way the system is in Congress, he doesn't have to say it, and he's probably not going to get in trouble. So let's listen to what he has to say. There it is.
One who has counted on me to be a champion for women. To all of you, I just want to again say I am sorry. I know there are no magic words that I can say to regain your trust, and I know that's going to take time. I'm ready to start that process, and it starts with going back to work today. So.
Okay, first off, he sounds like a whiny little wimp, okay? And if one of those women had been my girlfriend or my wife that he's touching their behind when he's getting a picture with them, the next thing he would have gotten, I don't care if he's a senator or not, he would have got punched right in the face. Because you're going to sexually assault some woman that I'm with, it's not going to fly. Actually, I don't know if I would have punched him in the face. I probably would have taken his hand, locked it behind his back, and done a citizen's arrest. That's all I can do now since I'm out. But I would have made it known very, very publicly that he just put his hand and physically assaulted a woman. Now, I had a debate with Kristen Tate today. She's saying that maybe we're overreacting, but the reality is we're not overreacting, and Congress needs to be held accountable. None of these people are held accountable. If you go out, I can guarantee you, okay, if I went out and just randomly picked somebody and started talking to them tonight and then just leaned over and grabbed them and stuck my tongue down their throat, or even if it's somebody that I know and one of my neighbors and I'm walking down and I just stick my tongue down their throat, there's a good chance I could be charged with sexual assault. Once you make penetration, it doesn't have to be in a sexual organ. You stick, your tongue in somebody's mouth, you're penetrating their body. You have now, it just doesn't have to be penetration, but now you've literally, you have committed sodomy. Sodomy, everybody thinks it's one particular act. It's not. It's any penetration of the body, unwanted. So The fact is, what he did is a crime to Leanne Tweeden. What he has done to other women is a crime, sexual assault. And Al Franken is a sexual predator who, just like, listen, there's pedophiles who do the same type of stuff. I think Joe Biden should seriously be looked at as somebody who inappropriately touches especially young girls. Doesn't matter even if it's on if there's cameras out there. And according to the Secret Service agent that talked about him, who did it anonymously, said that it's not just little girls, that they wouldn't take. They had canceled Christmas parties because they knew he'd be all over them. They would, if they had female guests in and around him, they would route them out of the room because they knew he would touch them inappropriately. This is, and he also apparently, according to these people, used to go swimming naked in front of female Secret Service agents. That's a problem. Okay, that is not only inappropriate, but in a lot of ways, those are the behaviors of a sexual predator, which is what we're not talking about here. Let's say that these women don't want to complain. They say, oh, you know, he's just Al Franken. He's a comedian. He put his hand on my behind when he was taking a picture. Okay, you're running for Senate or you're a senator, and you're going to do that. You know what that spells out to me? That is a sexual predator. That's somebody who has psychopathic tendencies, who doesn't understand the rules of what's right and what's wrong in society. That's somebody who does what they want and feels it's okay as long as they don't get caught. That's what that is all about. So Al Franken, make no doubt about it, is a sexual predator. And this whole apology, and he feels bad, and he sounds like a whiny little thing. Listen, he is, I've arrested so many people that were doing bad things, whether it be trafficking guns or selling dope, and they all cry because they got caught. They're not crying because they want to admit that they did wrong. They're crying because they got caught. Let's listen to what else he has to say.
Now I'm going to take a few questions. Sam.
Yeah. You said in response to some of these allegations that you remember these encounters.
Hold on. This is a terrible recording. Let me see if I can get a better one. Hold on. Let's try this one. Stand by. Okay, here you go.
For women. So all of you, I just want to again say I am sorry to start.
Does your recollection
For a sketch, I
PBS blew it.
call that differently from
Hold on.
One who has counted on me to be a champion for women. To all of you.
All right, let's try C-SPAN.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, here we go.
I just want to say a few words before I
Thank you,
get
C-SPAN.
back to work. I know that I've let a lot of people down, people of Minnesota, my colleagues, my staff, my supporters, and everyone who has counted on me to be a champion for women.
Yeah, he's
To
some
all of
champion.
you, I just want to again say I am sorry. I know there are no magic words that I can.
The magic word would be, so I'm going to step down from my office because I've shown that I am not worthy. But see, they're not held to a higher standard. These people do whatever they want, and they're just not worried about it.
To regain your trust, and I know that's going to take time. I'm ready to start that process.
Oh.
And it starts with going back to work today. So now I'm going to
In other words, he's not going to do a damn thing, this guy.
take a few questions. Sam.
Yeah. You said in response to some of these allegations that you remember these encounters differently. I wanted to ask, how specifically does your recollection of these events differ from the women who came forward, and to what extent are you denying their accountability?
He's saying, to what extent does your memory differ from what the women are saying? And well, let me see what the last part of his question was.
How specifically does your recollection of these events differ from the women who came forward, and to what extent are you denying their
And to what extent are you denying their accounts?
Well, there are different, different allegations. There's the Leanne Tweeden. Leanne and I were on the USO tour together, and on the Kiss at the rehearsal, we were rehearsing for a sketch. I said that I recall that differently from Leanne, but I feel that you have to respect, women's experience. And so I apologized to her, and I meant it, and I was, very grateful that she accepted it. As far as, I take a lot of pictures in Minnesota, thousands of pictures, meet tens of thousands of people. So those are instances that I do not remember. It has, from these stories, it's been clear that there are some women, and one is too many, who feel that I have done something disrespectful. And that's
So let me just say this. If one says it, okay, maybe that they could still be legit, but if you want to add credibility to that one person, let's see if there's more. And he's had multiple handful of people come out saying that he touched their behinds. The case of Leanne Tweeden, he stuck his tongue in her mouth, and he did that to another woman. There's no guesswork in here. All right, if they're all saying the same thing, there's no guesswork.
Them, and for that I am tremendously sorry.
Yeah.
And I know that I am going to have to be much more conscious when in these circumstances, much more careful, much more sensitive, and that this will not happen again.
So instead of just saying, I was acting like a dude and I touched some girls' butts and I was too forward and, look, I pushed the envelope and I was wrong. What he said was he's basically given all kinds of excuses, as though from now on he's going to have to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more caring, a little bit more understanding. In other words, he's going to have to try to figure it out. Well, there's no figuring it out, dude. Yeah, a normal person does not go around sticking their tongue down women's throats without being asked or a mutual consent. You don't stand there and take pictures of women, whether they're with another guy or not, and put your hand on their butts unless you're like, 18 and you're in a frat and you're just being stupid, in which case doesn't make it any better. But this guy's running for Senate and then was a Senate when he did these things.
Going forward, again, it's going to take a long time for me to regain people's trust, but
you shouldn't ever regain it.
I hope that starting work today that I can start to do that. Casey.
You made it clear you're not going to resign your Senate seat. There have been a lot of accusations against a lot of people that have been in the conversation lately. In your view, what's the bar for someone like you to have to resign?
What's the bar for somebody like him to resign? That's the question.
I'm not going to get into that or speculate on that. I'm certainly not going to talk to anybody else. This is what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to take responsibility by apologizing and by
not being held
apologizing
accountable
to the people I've let down. And I'm going to work to regain their trust. I am going to be accountable. We are going to cooperate completely with the ethics investigation.
Okay, the ethics investigation. It's important for you to realize that the ethics investigation is ran by other congressmen and other senators. That would be the same as asking your fraternity to investigate themselves because of a drinking incident. Are you kidding me?
I will be open to that. That's going to be, of course, I've not worked with the ethics committee before, and I don't quite know how that works, but I'm certainly open to that. And I also, I'm going to try to learn from my mistakes.
Wow.
And
That's an
in
honorable
doing so,
thing.
I've been doing a lot of reflecting, and I want to be someone who adds something to this conversation. And
You should add. I can tell you what you can add to it is goodbye and then a period. That's what you should add to this, Al Franken. And then, if you really want to do some good work, go see a psychologist and admit the fact that you're a mild psychopath or a mild psychopathic sex offender.
I hope I can do that.
I hope I can do that. In other words, there's no guarantee here. He hopes he can do that. He hopes that he can change his ways. He's a sex offender, folks. That sounds exactly like something that somebody that's a pedophile would say.
Yeah, MJ, okay.
Yesterday you were unable to answer the question of whether more women would be coming out with allegations. It does seem that that's a question that only you can answer. What is the reason, can you tell us, that you can't definitively say that more women would not come out with more allegations than these types of stories?
Sure. If you had, asked me 2 weeks ago, would any woman come forward with an allegation like this, I would have said no. And so I cannot speculate. This has been a shock, and it's been extremely humbling. I am embarrassed. I feel ashamed. What I'm going to...
But have you noticed that, look, if I did something I was embarrassed and ashamed about, I just wouldn't show my face again. I would be like, if you're like me, like a normal person, if you do something stupid, like a scooter accident, you want to crawl up into a ball and not be seen again. That's the facts, okay? But this guy couldn't wait to get out in front of the cameras. He's a narcissist. That's what this guy is. And I really like what Linda Rary said, and forgive me, Linda, if I'm not saying your last name right. Quote, I don't remember anything, but I'm going to learn from it. That's how weird this guy is. I mean, he's talking in circles. It's just a save face type of thing. Remember, these people are all part of a bigger, they're part of the ruling class, so they're not really worried about losing their jobs. They're really not.
Is I'm going to start my job.
Mm.
I'm going to go back to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to work as hard as I can for the people of Minnesota, and I'm going to start that right now. Thank you all. Thank you.
Right now. He's on his way, literally, right now, to go meet with staffers who do all the work. That's what he's going to go do. All right. I didn't think I could top that today, but I figured I'd go ahead and show you the one that tops it. Yeah. There she is, folks.
So define zero tolerance. You said there's now a zero tolerance.
Yes.
John Conyers, what does that mean for him right now?
Let's say
in or out?
we are strengthened by due process.
Oh.
Just because someone is accused.
Zero tolerance, right? Zero tolerance, which means if you do something, sexually assault somebody, or you do anything that's sexually inappropriate, sexually harass someone at work, that it's zero tolerance. That means you're gone, right? You're gone. That's it. You've resigned. You're gone. John Conyers paid $27,000 to a staffer that ended up getting fired because of his sexual advances. He walked around naked. Why are these 80-year-old men walking around naked? But he's walking around naked, touched her inappropriately, did other things. She got fired. She sued, got $27,000 worth of hush money of our taxpayer dollars. But that doesn't meet the threshold of zero tolerance. Am I missing something here, Nancy?
And was it one accusation? Is it two? I think there has to be. John Conyers is an icon in our country. He has done a great deal to protect women, violence against women advocates.
Okay.
The left wing, right wing.
Well, look, then since I was a cop and an FBI agent and I defended the country, according to Nancy Pelosi, I should be able to go out there and fondle any woman that I want to and not really have to worry about it. It's not, listen, as long as they aren't coming out and saying, you know, and I'm not getting caught by the cops, then zero tolerance doesn't really affect me, according to Nancy Pelosi.
Quoting me as praising him for his work on that, and he did great work on that. But the fact is, as John reviews his case, which he knows, which I don't, I believe he will do. I believe that he will. Excuse me, may I finish my sentence? Sure. That he will do the right thing.
What, and is the right thing what? Resign?
He will do the right thing in terms of what he knows about his situation, that he's entitled to due process, but women are entitled to due process as well.
But he got it. He took advantage of a situation where he had the rules of conduct. And I know you guys want to change these rules, but he got to hide his settlement. He got to, his accusers had to go through all sorts of craziness. So why is he entitled to new due process in this case?
No, we are talking about what we have heard. I've asked the ethics committee to review that.
There's that mysterious ethics committee again.
It will cooperate
with any review.
Excuse me?
Do you believe John Conyers is accused?
I don't know who they are. Do you? They have not really come forward. And that gets
so you don't know if you believe the accusations?
That's for the ethics committee to review. But I believe he understands what is at stake here, and he will do the right thing.
So I guess she can apply the same to Judge Roy Moore, that if Judge Roy Moore feels that he didn't do anything wrong, then Judge Roy Moore can do whatever he wants, according to Nancy Pelosi. This is what you call a double standard. It's what you call a psychopath. It's what you call somebody who is a liar, who uses the American people for their tax money. This is somebody who, as David Horowitz calls her, the biggest communist in government, and David Horowitz would know that because he was a communist at one point.
Non-disclosure agreements have to go. And by the way, some of them are there to protect the victim because they didn't want some of it to be public. But that's over. In other words, if the victim wants to be private, she can be. He or she can be.
I guess it goes back to what is the...
I can't listen to any more of her. She disgusts me. All right. I think that's it for tonight, folks. I mean, how much more of this can we show, can we do, and bring to you? I mean, look, you have to start realizing, and I'm going to leave you with this as I go to the Truth Zone and as I go have my surgery tomorrow. We have got to start in this country. We have got to get to a point where we don't just realize, one or two of us or 10 of us or 1,000 or 1,000,000 of us just realize that this game is being played. We've got to get together in big numbers and stop this somehow, some way. I don't know what that way is, but we need to start investigating that as a people, not as the government, not as an ethics committee. We need to start looking at this together as the people and stand together. Because I know, with the exception of maybe one or two trolls on Twitter, the majority of people on Facebook, on Twitter, you guys understand what I'm saying. So, look, you think about it. Tonight we've had 200 people on here. By the end of this show, they're on Facebook, and people watching it later on, there's going to be 5,000, 10,000 people. Twitter will have like 2,000 people. Look, that right there is 7,000 to 15,000 people that feel the exact same way that you do. They see the same reality that you do. But we have not stood together. We failed to develop a way to stand together. We did Hands Across America when I was in high school. That was with MTV. We literally almost got a complete chain of hands clasped together. I don't know if you remember that if you were younger, if you're older now, clear across the country. Now, if we can do that, we can surely get enough people to stand together to go against this nonsense. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to go to the Truth Zone. My knee is starting to cramp up. I've got to start powering food down and water, so I'll have stuff in my stomach all day tomorrow. Because inevitably, what's going to happen? I'm going to get there, and they're not going to they're going to hold me until, I don't know, 12 or something. I'm going to be starving. So anyway, I can't thank you guys enough. I love the way I have the iPad set up here so I can see what you guys are saying. Thank you, Michael Dwyer. Everybody that's praying for me, thank you. I appreciate it tremendously. I see what you all are saying. You are a part of this, and I want you to remember that. What makes me strong when I'm weak is the fact that I know that the people that show up here every night are standing with me, and I'm not going anywhere. This is a surgery on my knee, but I'm going to be here, and we're going to continue to drive forward on this and do what is right. And Michael, I don't think I'm going to be in the hospital overnight. They said I'm going to come home. I just don't know. Here's something interesting. Because I had neck surgery, I fell out of a helicopter when I was in the Navy onto the deck of a ship and injured my neck. But it wasn't until 2012 where that disc actually ruptured. So I had neck surgery, and because of that, they don't know if they're going to be able to intubate me because they don't know if they can get my neck all the way back. So they may have to do, I don't know, it's what women get when they are having a baby. It's like a spinal tap or something like that. And so I may have to, so those of you women that are out there that have had this done, I may have to get that done. And the scary thing about that is you can end up with a headache that lasts for a week. So that's nothing that if some of the spinal fluid leaks out in the epidural, thank you, and if the pressure in your brain is not right, and if there's negative pressure, then you're going to have a headache every time you stand up. So I'm not really looking forward to that if that happens. So hopefully they'll be able to intubate me and get me under some nice Michael Jackson sleeping medication, and I'll be able to sleep through the whole thing. So that's about it. All right. Love you guys. Thank you all again. And I'll keep you updated. Hopefully I'll be able to see you tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, I'll see you one of the days this week, and then we'll go forward there. God bless all of you. Thank you for all that you do. Let's go to the Truth Zone. Let's do it. Let me find it on here. There it is. All right. Well, as we saw tonight, it's interesting. I'm just now thinking about this as I'm saying it. The federal budget system is a scam. We know that the budget is going to continue to rise because it can't be checked, because whatever Congress approves to be spent has to be spent. Let's say that there's an agency that says, no, we don't need all that money. The president has to make sure that it gets spent. Never knew that before tonight. That gives them the ability to put whatever they want in those bills in there. As long as they can get it in there, it's going to get spent. We know that's a scam. We know that Al Franken is a lying sex offender, okay? That's quite evident. We know that Nancy Pelosi is a psychopath and a communist. We know that Paul Ryan and John McCain, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle all these people exist on, and I can guarantee there's going to be more of these sex assault cases that are going to come out, and eventually, somebody's going to get us the inside information leaked about who was actually paid off using our taxpayer money for all these sexual cases and who the cases were against. We're going to find that out eventually. I can guarantee it. But here's an interesting thing that just came to me as I was talking about this. Who are we talking about tonight? Are we talking about John Conyers? Are we talking about Nancy Pelosi or Al Franken or Paul Ryan or John McCain? We're talking about all of them. We're talking about people that if they sexually assault somebody or do something nefarious, they have to go through a system. Those people that are complaining have to go through a system that is so complicated that they will probably never get to the point before they lose their job and go away to get justice. It just won't happen. That's how complicated the system is. We're talking about people that pass laws about your health care. They tell you not to read it or worry about it because they're going to have health care regardless. We're talking about people who pass laws saying that you can or cannot do this or that, yet they make themselves immune from it. They make sure they get paid. They make sure that they don't go to jail and that they are not held to the same standard, yet they lord their power over you. Think about that. Everything I talked about tonight wasn't about some criminal that's on the street. It wasn't about some guy going around sexually assaulting women who's some gang member. It wasn't about some some guy from Wall Street who's trying to do insider trading. It wasn't about people running a budget in a company like Bernie Madoff, where they build a Ponzi scheme. No, everything I talked about tonight was about the federal government and the members of it, the politicians who are not held to a standard. That should chill your bones, folks, because everything I talked about tonight, if it was done in the civilian world, would be considered a crime and would be putting people in prison. But because they're not held to those standards, and they're not held with their feet to the fire in everything that they do, they have made it to where they don't have to worry about any of it. It should chill you to the bone. I'm Jonathan Gilliam. Don't forget, as it says right there, Jonathan Gilliam. Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival. Yes, it's a real book, folks, and I wrote it. Every single word in this book came out of this mind that was drilled into my brain by all the instructors and all the great warriors that I worked with. Go order it. It's only $11 right now. It's discounted. Don't forget the GoFundMe page, gofund.me/The Experts Roadshow. Pray for me. Pray for Rico. Don't worry, I'll see you tomorrow or the next day or one day this week on The Experts. The truth has arrived. All right, somebody's asking where they order the book. You go to Amazon.com and just look up Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness, or just Sheep No More in my name, Jonathan T. Gilliam. Or you just type in Jonathan T. Gilliam. There's 2 Sheep No Mores, right? One does not have my face on the book, which you're seeing right there. Okay? That's the cover of the book. So you go to Amazon.com. You type in Sheep No More or type in my name and you'll see that book pop up. If you click on it, it's only $11 right now. Order one for yourself and 10 other people. And then go tell 10 people about it. In fact, everybody that's watching right now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and direct message 10 people that you know. Tell them about this book and ask them to do the same for you. Don't tell them it's not some kind of a scam. Say, do this for me because I'm a part of this group. Can you go tell 10 people to order this book? Or tell 10 people to tell 10 people about it and order it. That's the way you're going to unify, just like we were talking about yesterday with the NRA and with the concealed weapons carry.
Do it. Do it now. Yeah.
I'll see y'all tomorrow.
I'll see you all this week on The Experts. Peace. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.